Hello everyone, welcome to Get My Class. So let's solve this question here. It says, which of the following is not the criteria for genetic material? Option A is to generate its replica or replication. Option B, it should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian characters. Option C, it should not show slow changes or mutation. Option D, none of this. Now let us understand the question. The question says, which of the following is not the criteria? So we have to underline these keywords, not the criteria for genetic material. So we have to look for the option which is not the criteria or a characteristic of a genetic material. Now, first of all, we have to understand what do we mean by genetic material. So genetic material, that means it is the component of the cell which carries the genetic information. Am I right? Which carries genetic information. And genetic information for what? Genetic information for characteristics. Okay, where it will transfer or it will transfer the characteristics or the genetic information from one cell to the other cell or from parent to the offspring. Okay, so that is what is considered as genetic information or genetic material. So here in eukaryotes or even in prokaryotes, we consider DNA as the genetic material. And what is the reason that we consider DNA as the genetic material? The first point, since we are saying that it has to transfer the characteristics from one cell to other cell or from parent to the offspring, it should be able to replicate. It should be able to replicate or it should be able to undergo replication. Okay. So only then it will replicate itself and it will carry the information from one cell to the other cell. Am I right? Or from parent to the child. Okay. So that is the very important aspect or criteria to be considered as genetic material. The second important characteristic is that it should be stable. Okay. The genetic material, it should be stable because if it gets if they degraded, if it gets broken into fragments, and then how will it carry the information? Right? It should be stable. That is how chemically stable as well as structurally stable. Structurally, chemically and structurally, it should be stable. And that's why we have double helical structure with a lot of hydrogen bonds in between the bases, forming the stack. Yes, okay, forming the stack, and that gives further coiling. It becomes chromosome along with the proteins, right? And that's how it is stable. Okay, so that is another criteria, because if it is stable, only then it can transmit the information. And the third one, though it is stable, it should be capable of undergoing slow changes. Slow changes, why? Because only then, because that slow changes means, what do we mean by that? That is nothing but mutation. And because there is slight mutation or slow mutation, that will lead to what? Evolution. Okay. Or you can say the variation. So mutation brings about variation and that will cause evolution. Okay. So that is another important characteristic of genetic material. And also, fourth one, it should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian characteristics. So it should follow the Mendelian characteristics. As Mendelian says that the characteristics are transmitted from or transferred from the parent to the offspring. So it should be able to transfer the characteristics, right? Yes, so Mendelian characteristics should be, we can say that it should be able to transfer the characteristics as described by Mendelian. So that's why we call it as Mendelian characteristics, okay, or characters. So these are the important, you can say, aspects or criteria to be considering something as genetic material. So let us see. Option A says it generates its replica. So that is absolutely right. But then we are looking for the one which is not the criteria. Hence, we will rule it out because this is correct statement. We are talking about the incorrect criteria or which is the not criteria. Option B says it should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian characteristics. This is also correct criteria, but we are looking for the which is not a criteria. Then option C says it should not show. So they have mentioned it should not show slow changes or mutation. But then we have said that it should show slow changes because only then variation will occur, only then that will lead to evolution. Hence, this is the incorrect criteria, or you can say this is not the criteria according to our explanation. Hence, this is the correct answer according to the question. And option D says none of this. It is incorrect because we have the correct answer here. So let us conclude the answer. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is option C. I hope you understood the explanation. Thank you, everyone.